Microphone, chicka chicka check, 1 2 1 2. This is your host, Nasan, baby, and this is another episode of Swingers After Dark. And I'm walking around my neighborhood at 2 in the morning, evening, or whatever the fuck you want to call it. And I'm talking into my phone, to record this podcast, my beloved, or whatever the fuck you want to call it, podcast. And I'm hoping that people don't look at me funny because I'm talking to myself, or at least it appears to be, but I'm really speaking to you. You feel me? And you know, I came across this court case. I came across this court case on YouTube concerning two promoters out of Atlanta, the A. Peace up. A-Town down. Or whatever the fuck they call it. You feel me? Shout out to my people in the Peach, in the bottom, Atlanta, Georgia. You know, the ATL shouted. So, I'm checking out this court case, right? And, you know, these two lady promoters, they've been beefing for months, for years. They've been beefing for a long time. They have a long-standing rivalry against each other. They don't fuck with each other. Like, these two ladies don't fuck with each other. It just so happens they're over their 50s, you know. They're in their 50s. They're over 50 years old. And they're pillars of our swing community. You know, they're veterans. And it's a shame that, you know, they had to take their squabbles to court. Now, I interviewed both participants. I've interviewed the plaintiff and I've interviewed the defendant. Now, the plaintiff, you know, I interviewed her once, but the interview was never released. I still have the interview, but I don't know if I'm going to release it because it didn't come out the way I wanted to come out. No pun intended. You feel me? If I don't come hard, I don't come correct. You dig? Or whatever the fuck they call it. But anywho, so it didn't come out the way I wanted it to come out. So I told Shorty, you know, I told the plaintiff, I said, look, the interview did not come out the way I wanted to come out, so we should do it again. She agreed, and to make a long exchange short, she gave me the runaround, because I guess she felt a certain way because the interview did not come out the way it's supposed to come out, and she had to do it over again. So, you know, we had a falling out. I blocked her. The plaintiff, yes, we're talking about the plaintiff. I blocked the plaintiff, all her pages on Facebook. Because look, it's like if you agree to do something and you don't do it, then that means you're disrespecting me and my platform. You feel me? Your word is your bond. Now I get it. People lives, they're busy, whatever the fuck they want to call it. But the etiquette when it comes to doing business, the proper etiquette when it comes to doing business is communication. You communicate with your business partners and tell them, look, I cannot do this today. Let's reschedule. She did not do this, or she did not do that, rather, and she got the blickzock. Like, whoever invented the block button, they deserve like a Nobel Peace Prize to keep her in sanity, to like mental health. Like the block button on social media, whoever invented that block button, they deserve like the Nobel Peace Prize for mental health. Because you block out a lot of riffraff on social media. No, unfriending is not enough. No, sirree. Unfriending is not enough. I would rather block you so you could no longer exist to me. But anywho, back to the lecture at hand. So the plaintiff, I blocked the plaintiff. And even then, it was like a combination of things. Because I remember I met the plaintiff at a dungeon event, at a BDSM event. And she acted like, you know, she was working the counter. Like, it was, you know, like when you go to the club or to a lounge and there's like a bar area, and she was behind a bar. Like the bar did not have liquor. It was just a place for people to register. And she stood behind the bar. And a mutual friend wanted her to come around the bar to give me a hug. But the plaintiff did not do that. The plaintiff felt that she did not have to go around the bar to give me a hug. She would rather give me one of those fake Hollywood hugs by reaching over the bar to give me a hug. I felt the way about that because it's like, yo, you couldn't take like a minute to go around the bar to give me a hug. It's like, come on now, like, all right, whatever. You wanna act funny about it? All right, whatever. It like she was like, yo, I'm working right now, but that was the plaintiff's excuse. The plaintiff's excuse, she was like, I'm working right now, but she wasn't doing shit. The BDSM event was over. Like the plaintiff co-hosted a BDSM event at a dungeon in Tucker, Georgia. So, the event was over. It was like done. Everybody's going home. And I'm like, yo, what the fuck you gotta do? Like, I purposely waited until the event was over so we could chop it up a little bit because you were busy during the event and you're not busy now. So what the fuck are you doing? So I let that one go. The straw that broke the camel's back was when she gave me the runaround about, redoing the interview. Now, mind you, people have redone the interview. There has been times where the interview did not come out the way I wanted to come out, and we redid the interview. Redone, or whatever the fuck they want to call it. You feel me? We ran it back. We did the interview over again, and it came out better. So this is not an isolated event. So, I'm cool with the defendant. Now, the defendant, on the other hand, she's a sweetheart. The defendant, she's a sweetheart. You feel me? Like, we never met, but we chopped it up a little bit. I interviewed her and it went fine. It went perfectly fine. And, she allowed me to promote my podcast and my books and her Facebook groups because the defendant runs like multiple groups. So she lets me do my thing. Because a lot of group owners and their admins, they act like Nazis on Facebook. They act like, they don't want to, they act like they doing you a fucking favor when they accept your posts. Like, I don't like Facebook posts. I know I'm digressing a little bit, but I don't like Facebook groups, rather, where your posts have to be approved. It's like, what the fuck is that? It's like, I don't have to be in your group. There's more than one way to skin a cat, but I appreciate the groups on the flip side because I may reach people that I normally can't reach, or I normally couldn't reach, or wouldn't reach if it wasn't for that group. But I could always go somewhere else because there's like 1,000,005 groups out there. So, it's the approval things that bugs me out. But the defendant, her admin team and they approve my posts. They accept my posts, whether I promote my podcast and promote my books or whatever the case may be. So they show love. They show me love, and I appreciate that. But anywho, I just wanted to give you a breakdown about my history between the plaintiff and the defendant before I roll this clip on my beloved podcast, beloved, or whatever the fuck you want to call it. You can find this clip on YouTube. You can see like the visuals. Of course, I'm giving you the audio, but you could find a visual on YouTube as well. Just like, just type in Jerry Springer, Judge Jerry Springer and swingers, and it will come up. Just when you go to YouTube, put in swingers, Judge Jerry Springer. Now, I didn't even know Jerry Springer was a fucking judge. Like, I knew he was a politician. I knew he briefly acted as as mayor of Cincinnati, like back in the day. I knew he was like the mayor of Cincinnati back in the day, but I didn't know that he was a fucking judge. It's like, how do you go from a mayor to a talk show host to a judge? You gotta love this life. You could be wherever you want to be, baby. You could be wherever you want to be. But anywho, without further ado, enjoy.
Plaintiff Michelle Galloway saw her local swingers club sinking in debt, so she stepped in to save it. Now the club's closed, and she's suing to get her money back. Defendant Maritza Wilmer owned the swingers club, but when the plaintiff badmouthed the club, she lost everything. She's countersuing for $5,000.
Truth and nothing but the truth. I do.
I do.
Case number 27 on the docket, Galloway versus Wilmer.
Thanks, Najee.
You're welcome, Judge.
We have the plaintiff, Ms. Galloway.
Yes.
And you are suing the defendant, Ms. Wilmer, in the amount of $2,250 for breach of contract for an investment in a swingers club. The defendant, Ms. Wilmer, is countersuing the plaintiff in the amount of $5,000 for defamation of character.
That is correct.
Let's start with you. You made an investment in the swingers club?
I did.
Yes.
If I can just give you a little bit
Sure.
of background. Now, the Swingers Night Club is really a lifestyle. It's where a lot of different people are involved. There's a lot of different aspects. You have BDSM. You have something called a unicorn, which I am. I'm a unicorn.
I don't want to step out of bounds here, but why are you a unicorn? What
I'm a
is it?
unicorn because I'm a mystical creature. I'm not readily available to couples. So I usually am a third person in couples.
Okay, for someone watching, let's say, who knows nothing about this, here, you want a pen
Let me
to
give you
write
a
some
little
of this stuff
education.
down?
Take some notes, Judge.
Okay, a swingers club, it's like a union of
Multiple people
where couples can exchange
interact
partners.
with each other. You can have thirds.
Oh,
I join a couple
yeah.
in their play.
So that, okay, so there are three there. Now explain how the club works.
She had the club.
Oh, she
I
had
was
the club.
investing in her club.
Oh, you were investing in her club. And
Right, right.
what were you investing in?
Well, I started off as a dominatrix. I then got married
Yes.
to a preacher for 15 years.
That must have been interesting.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah.
So he would go to church on Sunday and I would raise hell on Saturday.
Well, you had something to pray for.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
So,
so-
the two didn't meet well, so we divorced, and I got back into the lifestyle, and I started going to her events. And they have a group, and they kind of, it's a community, actually.
You're suing for
$2,250.
$2,250.
Yes, Your
What
Honor.
is that for?
I actually invested in her business because she was about to go out of business.
How much did you invest?
The initial monies that I gave her was $1,500.
$1,500. And how
Correct,
would
cash.
you make money back? Cash. How would you make money back?
We had an agreement that we had a 9-week installment plan that she was going to do.
So you have this swingers club. On a weekly basis, your club has parties.
Correct.
You make money because the people that come pay a fee to be at this party.
That is correct.
And so the more people you get there, the more money you make, and
The more fun we have.
the more profit you get for that. So you
Correct.
were going to invest in her business.
Correct.
You have a copy of the contract?
I do, sir.
Najee, if I could see that.
Sure thing.
So you were going to get, for each event, $250 per event night.
Exactly
so every
right.
night that her, let's say it was once a week, there was an event, you would get $250. And that's why it was over a 9-week span. So if there were 9 weeks, it would come to that,
$2,250.
which would mean in that 9 weeks, after your investment, you made $750.
That is correct, Your Honor.
Well, why are you suing her now?
She never made the first payment to me.
Okay, now I'll hear from you.
I've been an over-the-road truck driver cross-country for 10 years now and funded my own business.
Yeah.
The venue got into a little trouble.
Yeah.
And they needed some upfront money.
And she said, hey, I'm interested in the business. I've been coming to your place. This is kind of cool. I will invest $1,500. And
That's
you
correct.
both signed this contract I
That's
see
correct.
here. You have 9 dates, February 23rd, March 2nd, March 9th, March 6th. It looks like every week.
Correct. And
Yeah.
that was supposed to be after the events.
The first party was February 23rd.
That's correct. The first party was February 23rd.
And she was to be paid when?
25th, Your
The
Honor.
25th.
So 2 days later.
That
correct.
Monday.
All
The
right.
party was Saturday. She was due to pay me on that Monday.
Okay.
Correct.
Now what happened?
It was a very good party. She didn't come to the party. So I felt the need
Good for
to
you, yeah.
go to the internet on my page and shout out, is what we call, the people that attended the party. She didn't come to the party. At 3:46 that Sunday, which is the 24th,
Yeah.
I asked her in our group, I asked her, Mimi, what's your cash app?
So that's how you would pay her the $250
That's
is what you're
correct.
thinking.
Very
What's
first-
wrong with that?
I never got it.
Okay, she's asking for the
I
information.
submitted that to her in the group chat.
At 3:59,
Yeah.
she apparently, I'm just going to make an assumption, she apparently went to Facebook and seen that I shouted out all of the other groups and made her own Facebook post. At 4:01, She came into my personal chat and quoted. She was done. She wanted out of the contract. Not saying anything about a default because there was no
Which there's a
default.
clause in our
There was
contract
no
that we
default.
can-
Yes.
We
but
can
she-
cancel the contract
Wait,
at any
this is,
time.
okay.
She gave a shout out to everybody else except for the very person that saved her business.
I gave a shout out
She
to
wouldn't
the
have even had a
attendees.
party
I gave
if
a
I didn't
shout out
give her
to
the
the
money.
Okay.
attendees.
All right. You're upset with her because at this point she didn't thank you.
And didn't pay me.
Well,
No,
it's-
at that point-
At that point, she didn't have to. You sent it out on the Sunday afternoon at 3:59. She didn't have to pay you until Monday.
That's correct.
She could have
That's
paid
right.
me Saturday
No, no,
night.
She could have, but she's allowed to pay you till that Monday. So you were already,
Annoyed.
and she didn't have to pay you yet, and you weren't at the party.
Correct.
401, she said, I don't care anymore. I'm tired of being disrespected. She wanted out of the contract. She said nothing about a defaulted payment or anything.
Why did you, on Sunday night, cancel the contract?
That was Monday.
Yes, it was Sunday night.
So Sunday night, before the payment was due, you said you felt disrespected and you were canceling the contract. So it wasn't a loan, it was an investment. When you invest, it's a risk. If you decide to leave the business, you didn't get the full 9 weeks that you were entitled to be a part of it. You pulled out after February 23rd. So you are entitled to the $250 for that first event. But since you pulled out before any of the other events happened, you were the one that decided I don't want to be a part,
But
which I respect. If you didn't want to be a part, that's fine. But you can't then expect her, after you pull out of the contract, to pay you $250 for every event when you said, I don't want to be part of it anymore.
But we put it in our contract that we had an agreement that either party could pull out and that you would have 7 days to a whole week to pay me back the initial $1,500.
This agreement can be immediately terminated without penalty should either party determine that the other party is in default of this agreement. She was not yet in default of the agreement, so you aren't then entitled to the return of the $1,500. And
Your
that's
Honor,
what the difference
I have
there
the
is.
cancellation notice request here was sent on Monday once I did not receive the initial payment.
No, sir. It was sent on Sunday evening at 8:44. My original text messages show the time and the date.
Okay. On the countersuit, you are saying there was defamation of character.
Starting the 24th, February 24th or 25th, she went to Facebook and posted, I defaulted on loans, beware, posted cease and desist, sent them to groups.
How much did you net on that first party?
After paying expenses,
Yeah, what was your
and
net?
everything, over $1,000.
Then you were upset for whatever reason. You're not denying that you put, well, we can see it. You put out on social media disparaging things about her
Here are my ticket sales before her, and here are my ticket sales after her.
after the statement.
That's correct.
What I want to know is the exact statement what she put in the social media,
her
which you
initial-
consider slander.
Her initial statement of defamation was this right here, and it went viral. To my knowledge, she sent it to over 50 groups.
I was removed from the Secret Lounge. Is that the name of the group?
That's the name of my business, the Secret
Secret
Lounge.
Lounge Groups. Because I invested substantial monies with Group's owner, they have defaulted on their very first payment on my investment. Instead of making it right, they kicked me out of the groups and are forcing me now to sue them. So these are pretty negative.
That was my opinion in the business.
Most of the people that are on her friends list is from the Secret Lounge and my groups.
So this is false. She didn't default yet. Whether it damaged you, you're now showing me the tickets for the parties prior to this.
That's correct, Your Honor. And also, if you
Okay,
Google
on
my
February
name-
16th, you had a party with 108 people. On February 23rd, the party in question, you had 116 people. After you put it out, it dropped from 116 people to 28 people. You did print something on social media, which at the time was factually false.
But Your
And so
Honor,
it had an
if
effect,
I'm
yes.
feeling like I did not get my money when it was promised to
It's
me
the
on the
night
25th.
before.
No, it was
Also-
it was on
It says
that
the
Monday.
24th.
It was the same exact day.
And I
Here's
felt
the
that
post.
I should have been paid as we agreed on that Monday, and I still
Well, you were
received
I was trying
no
to pay you
All
on
right.
the
Ma'am,
Sunday.
ma'am, don't speak with each other.
You got me.
Okay. All right. So you were making about $1,000 on your normal party.
Can I add
And
one
what
more
did you
thing?
make on March 16th?
$300.
Well, these are each are different to 30. Oh,
and
I see.
also, I lost employment over
You
that
were damaged.
also.
You were damaged in this business. For the defendant's defamation suit, I find damage worth $2,500, offset by judgment for the plaintiff of $250. So the final judgment is defendant, $2,250. Hey YouTube, check out my new show, Judge Jerry. Now for sneak preview and behind the scenes footage, subscribe to my channel now.